Okay everyone, so just a quick little introduction for episode 15. The tree breeding is going along quite nicely, and we have procured a new sapling, which is called teak. And it is tall and voluminous, for want of a better term, with its leaves, and I'm going to try and breed that over with the silver lime that we've gotten before, because they're both fairly light, and I think that'll get me close to balsa. But with that said, into the main episode. I'm not coming out. Nope. Nope, I'm not coming out. You're not going to see me. Oh, alright, sorry. See, I was setting up the I was working with the gas spawner, yesterday, and, yeah, there was a bit of an accident. Terrible, painful accident. In all seriousness, if you recall the skeleton spawner that I was using to level up soul shards, I put together a gravity gun, and then got struck by lightning around here, so it's actually now a supercharged gravity gun. Picked that up and carried it through to the Nether, where it is now almost constantly spawning wither skeletons. So I actually have to the best of my knowledge, only 4 wither skeleton skulls on the server. This means in theory I could summon the wither. I'd be suicidal if I did, and it being the first wither, I think we'd rather do that as a group project thing. But today we're back in Monroeville, so what are we going to be doing today? Well, first we're going to head back over to the spawn area over there and see what became of all of the factorization stuff that I spent so much lead on. I then actually had to go and, let's see, I made 32 ender pearls, and I used the blaze rods that I had, plus the minium stone, to make 4 stacks of blaze rods, using a mass rate, so get more, same bone meal kind of trick, to trade with GNR for another stack of lead ore, which I've been pumping through quite rapidly, so may want to look into something for that later. But today we're focusing predominantly on bees, because that's why I wanted to get into factorization last time, so I could improve my bee breeding process. But today I'll mostly be going to be explaining the what's, hows, and whys of bees. So hop on into I remember the last time I said that. There was a Twitter conversation. Take a look at my perspective, and we'll continue on with the episode, shall we? So, as you might have guessed, just quickly, I have been doing a fair bit of building up around here. I am back to the original resolution that I was on a little over 2 episodes ago. Frames are down as a result. It was an interesting experiment. Sorry it went slightly horrendously wrong, especially with the way the space cam worked out, but oh well. We did get higher frames for that at least, but we're back down to horrid frames. On that note, as I'm sure many of you are wondering, Elemental is sat behind me. He's still missing a component or 2. I don't believe I'll need any more donations, but if you have some free cash and you particularly want to help me out, then by all means donate. But he should be okay for now. He's mostly just lacking. Well, let's see, he's lacking a sufficiently powerful power supply unit, which is on order at the moment. He's lacking a dedicated monitor. I have a second monitor over here that Bio is running off, because his monitor is getting a bit old and creaky, but Elemental can borrow that. And beyond that, he's mostly just missing a Windows install, but I can probably procure that. That's the word I'm going to use. So we should be okay. It'll be like another week or so before I can get him up and running fully. But over here, is what became of all of that factorization work. I did eventually get the turbine going up, and the turbine sucks in water from the water source underneath it, and you can see that water in there, and then with the aid of reflective mirrors, which as near as I can tell are directional, I'm not 100% certain, but they can be at most, I think it's 8 blocks away from the turbine before they stop connecting to it. And you will know that when they stop connecting to it, because they'll just like be flat and facing directly up as opposed to tilted, as you can see. They're all tilted and pointing towards the turbine. Those focus solar power, which is say this doesn't work at night, into the turbine, which creates heat evaporating the water, which creates power as the motor is turned, and it goes along the lead wire, which was never free to make 8, but oh well. That goes into the batteries. And I've got a little example here. I've got I made another battery, another furnace heater, and another crystallizer, because this thing is dang slow, so I could do it being sped up anyway. Just as a demonstration, you can see this battery has a full set of bars on the side, and this battery does not. That's because this one has not been hooked up to the turbine, so it hasn't been recharging. Just to demonstrate, somewhat meaninglessly, I guess. Oh god, that lightning bolt came late. You can see how I managed to get struck by lightning and get a supercharged gravity gun, can't you? Honestly, I'm mostly happy because it's blue, but well. So this has a lower charge. What are these doing? Still chugging through. But if I use the piece of wire I have here to hook up this battery, it should charge up. Yep. You can see that the turbine over there is spinning faster, and we can see the power here is going up again. So, it's a nice little graphic. I might have like a bank somewhere, maybe the power station, the eventual power station, of these batteries just being recharged. Because you can just hit them with a hit them with a pickaxe and pick them up, and they'll be perfectly fully charged. But yeah, fully charged. And I suspect if you have more than one furnace heater around these crystallizers, they'll run faster. I suspect. I haven't devoted the resources to trying that out yet. Although we do now have a creative world here on Chaosville, which is made in Mistcraft and stuff, that is specifically for testing things out. And I should say because I set the whole thing up. Have taken great pains to make sure that survival items and such don't cross paths with creative items. But I'm deviating now, aren't I? So, in my inventory, along with some chitin that I got from a scorpion that somehow made his way to the hub station, So much fire, so much lightning. The server's a bit laggy today, guys, so my frames are a little lower than they even usually are. My apologies for this, I can't really do much about it. Because Dave's at GameCon, if not just getting back from it, so not much we can do there, I'm afraid. But I have some apiaries, I have one resilient frame. I'm kind of loath to use this frame because this and a number of other frames are from Farmcraft, and they absorb Viz from the aura nodes nearby, which means they create flux, and I'd rather not have Monroeville full of wisps. So that's also the reason that I've been avoiding making lead in like a crucible. Also because it's a tremendously lackluster kind of affair. You toss elements in and you generally tend to get less than you put in back, which is a little annoying, but anyway. I also have 4 stacks of forest drones, because the tree breeder setup over at the Night of the Living Dead build is just piling up on forest drones. And I have 4 meadows princesses. You can't actually manufacture princesses. At best, you'll always only have as many princesses as the number of beehives you have gone out and ransacked, which is a bit of a pain on a server. So I've just been kind of trying to find them inside of Mistcraft ages, like Monroeville, because there's a few. But I've got 4 here, and our aim is to try and get a pure common drone and a pure princess. A pure common princess. Because then we can start mass-producing common drones, ideally, and that will help us to make cultivated drones. This is where I get into explaining things. If I just hop over here, and yep, it started to do it. If you may have noticed that around the Night of the Living Dead builds tree breeder setup, there was a lot of flowers. Yeah, a lot of different bees, like this Valiant, will start to put flowers down around where they're running. But we're not gonna. Well, I will probably set up something for this later, but something to automate these later. But for now, the way you get a common bee is to breed together any two kinds of bee that you just get from a beehive. So forest, marshy, rocky, modest, all sorts. So we've got meadows and we've got forest. And we're going to breed them together using our massive forest drones and the 4 meadows princesses that we have. They're dime a dozen, so I'm not too fussed about using them for this purpose. But it's not that big of a worry. And one thing I need to do, actually. Oh wait, it's nighttime. And actually, interesting thing, you saw the computer that was with all of our machines and such back at the overall thing by the depot. Interesting thing I discovered. Monroeville is not only has a longer day-night cycle than the overworld, it is completely dissociated from it. It's like the overworld and Monroeville's time are completely unlinked. In fact, they're usually like in direct opposition to one another. So I thought that was interesting. Now what we want to be making is the soul frame, which is an impregnated frame plus soul sand, and that increases the chances of mutation. Because the way this works is that you get 2 bees, and you breed them together, and you then generally get hybrids of the 2, but occasionally you get a completely new species. That is based on a percentage chance and the 2 bees that you breed together. I cannot remember how to make a... Oh, that's a chocolate frame. I need impregnated. Which requires impregnated sticks, which are made in a carpenter with seed oil. This is going to be a bit of a faff. But fortunately, I have plenty of seeds over here. Yeah, the server's been laggy for everyone all day. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. Nipty was on earlier, and he could barely hold a connection. And grab. Good. There's actually a lot fewer seeds in there than I recall. I may have shifted them somewhere, I'm not sure. But we do have a carpenter over here. He said as he walks into a tree. Nope, that's a squeezer. That's the carpenter. Get that out. Turn this off, because I don't want to try and pump this into that. And we'll set this running. I moved all of the fuel into Monroeville. I probably should have moved this stuff into Monroeville as well. My frames just kind of drop. Now you can see it's nighttime in the overworld and it's nighttime here at the moment, but that's kind of unusual. Oh, before I forget, because it's over here and it's using up most of my Buildcraft power supply, I made a new quarry, because I need more silver to get more of those reflective mirrors running, which isn't a big deal at the moment, but it's nice. So I've just got the same setup I had before at the original quarry near Williams Warehouse, which is the 2 electrical engines with their own individuals, low voltage solar arrays, which are a pain to manufacture. I know a lot of you would like to see me doing solar power, but it's just too much of a pain. And so it all goes into the relay. Get the spatula on here. I shall hop into a bed to demonstrate. Yeah, you can see the world just loading really slowly. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to presume that there's something going on with the computer that's running the server, but I can't make any guesses, so apologies, we kind of have to deal. Where was I? Alright, so the way the bees work is that you get one bee and another bee, and you mash them together, and you get a hybrid, or occasionally you get the same kind of bee out, but also occasionally you get a new species, and that is based on a percentage chance of every time that they are bred. So if I take my Meadows Princess and I breed them together with forest drones, there is a percentage chance that I will get common bees out of it. There's also a chance that I'll get Meadows Forest bees out of it, which is fairly high. Ooh, I should take them out before they breed, because these things have a fairly short lifespan. Yep, shorter life. So let's just take those out for the moment. But they don't actually, you've noticed that I've been putting frames in these. You don't actually need the frames, which is sort of helpful when you're doing the auto breeding setups that I've been using to like run the tree breeder. The frames are upgrades, effectively. You've got your bees and you've got your apiary, and they will work just fine without frames. Originally I thought you actually needed an alveary for that, which is a fairly high level kind of thing inside the bee breeding stuff, but turns out no, you just need bees in the apiary at the very minimum. The frames are upgrades, so they all do different things. So some of them will just last longer, some of them will increase the returns, like the products of the bees, and others, like the soul frame, really mess them up. I think the soul frame is described as like just draining the life from the bees and making them unhealthy and sickly and all sorts of things. But the upside of that is that it makes them more likely to mutate, which means they're more likely to become those new species, which is what we want. So we're going to make the soul frames, and we're going to use them to increase the chances of our Meadows Forest bees becoming the kind of bees that we actually want. And I came over here to get fuel, didn't I? Yeah, sorry that this is kind of mostly me talking at the moment, because, as I say, the server's not in the best of states, and apparently neither am I, because I'm getting like 4 or 5 frames a second right now. But not that big an issue, because it's mostly me talking to explain things. So, yay! You've got the face cam. The face cam is at perfect resolution and such. Ooh, I also stacked another chest here, a pierced chest, so I could separate the bees from the princesses from the drones. Switch that on. Doop, doop, doop. And that will get us some seed oil. Oh yeah, I forgot there's still a bunch of stuff in here trying to get centrifuged. Rocky combs. The rocky bees are part of a fairly chunky branch that allows you to make stuff for like iron and copper and whatnot a renewable resource. There is actually a leaden bee, so in theory I could make lead a renewable resource, but the ones that I'm interested in are, let's see, you take common and you breed that with something, I can't recall what. It's a very irritatingly complicated list of things. But if you breed common and it might be valiant, or I don't know, you breed something to get something else, probably cultivated, which is sort of like the next tier after common. And then you breed that with valiant, which is the long-running thing I had already running over there with the apiaries, which is a rare drop, effectively, from beehives. You will occasionally get a valiant bee from them. If you breed those together, you get excited. Excited bees are very interesting for us, because they produce glowing combs, which when centrifuged produce redstone. And I'm a little low on redstone, and I was until I went out flying in the nether and grabbed a bunch more of it, low on glowstone, and that's still fairly low for glowstone standards. But we can use Xenos Reliquary to convert redstone into glowstone, and redstone is very useful for us because it's good in potions and such. So if we can make redstone a renewable resource, then I'm thinking we're going to have quite a good time. And also, since we've now got Wither skeletons galore. I haven't made a soul shard of them yet, but there is a spot picked out for them at the depot. I've also shifted the cows there. Just you didn't get to see them because they're kind of far at the back, in the incomplete section of things. And I haven't had time this past week or so to work on the ghast spawner or the zombie pigman XP setting. Because I've been busy. It's the last few weeks of university term, so I'm really run ragged with my other stuff I have to get done. Doesn't look like that's gonna manage to finish, is it? Right, well, we're pushing 22 minutes now, so unfortunately we haven't managed to get much done this episode. My apologies for that. Next episode we will continue. Hopefully the server will be running better. Maybe Elemental will even be doing the running. I don't know. Depends on how quickly I can get certain parts. But for the moment, in the aims of being a 20-odd minute long episode, I shall catch you later when I have gotten a bunch of necrotic frames. Well, not necrotic frames, as in the Foundcraft equivalent. The soul frames. Shoved them into RBs and made them all horrifically ill. So I may have another like catch up moment at the start with the like I did with the trees. Haven't checked on if there's a bread yet. I'll do that later. But anyways, on that note, catch you later.